What do we have for Scorpio? Six of Cups, Scorpio, that is your energy at the foundation of the reading. Scorpios, right now with Pluto in retrograde, a lot of you are addressing family traumas, things having to do with your upbringing. I'm also picking up a lot of past life karma coming to the surface right now. And the reason why this is taking place is because there's areas of your life that you want to start moving forward in, but you need to make sure that you've addressed any of this deeply embedded trauma so you can actually push forward in these particular sectors and not recreate something that you've already overcome. Now, the most common area that all of you, for the most part, are going to relate to will be in the area of romance, relationships. Okay. Scorpios have a tendency to wind up in the same relationship year after year, over and over. You won't even recognize this at first until you're 6 months into a relationship, and you'll start to realize that the person you're with is a direct reflection of somebody that you've already been with in your past. Now, what this is indicating, Scorpios, is that there's still some unhealed trauma. And the only way to overcome this is to take some time out, address all of this, and start reconstructing how you perceive love and relationships moving forward. Now, the way that you actually change your perception around love is by developing a relationship with Source, with the divine, with God, with the universe, with spirit, whatever you choose as your higher power. Now, what this leads you to, Scorpios, is a relationship with yourself. It's absolutely crucial that Scorpios spend some time in a sort of hermit energy to get to know themselves, love on themselves, and nurture a close relationship with yourself. See, you want to get to a point, Scorpios, where you don't need somebody else in your life. You would like somebody else in your life. And when you start to perceive love from this perspective, this is when you actually align with the real stuff. The Six of Cups at the foundation of the reading is speaking about this karmic cycle that a lot of you are being guided to break out of right now. Some of you are just now going through the awakening process. Some of you are well into your journey, but this particular message can speak to all Scorpios. Because the thing with the Scorpio energy, you're constantly going to be tested by the universe. There's always going to be people that show up on your path that are direct reflections of individuals in your path trying to pull you back into a karmic cycle with a kind of energy that you've already overcome in your life. Typically speaking, these people who come across your path, they don't know what they're doing. They're just playing their part, just like you're playing a part in their life. But with the astrology right now and Pluto going retrograde, it's very important that you start to speak up for yourself, Scorpios, and set some boundaries once and for all. This is going to help bring a close to these karmic cycles. Because the problem with the Scorpio energy, a lot of you guys internalize this because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, you don't want to hurt people's feelings, and then you just wind up in situations that re-engage you in these karmic cycles. And I'm a Scorpio, so I can speak from experience here. I have multiple Scorpio placements. I have a Scorpio party taking place in my 1st and 12th house, Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, Scorpio north node, multiple planets in Scorpio. But what I have noticed, no matter how developed you are, and what I mean by that is how advanced you are in the awakening process, there's always going to be a test. But one thing that I've come to learn, Scorpios, is the universe does not want you going down a path that you've already overcome in your life. So when people come across your path that are direct reflections of something you've overcome, it's very important that you recognize this as a test and keep pushing forward. Now, for those of you Scorpios that are single, this can be challenging because you can jeopardize all of your growth and healing by allowing somebody else into your life that is a direct reflection of the past. Sometimes you can feel confused, like the universe is sending you this person, that you're meant to be with this person. But if you can start to gauge these situations in terms of, is this a repeating energy coming back from the past or a new energy that you haven't experienced yet, then you should be able to push through these challenges when they come your way. What do we have, the sacred, please? 8 of Wands, Sag energy at the sacral. Scorpio, I quite often talk about how before we're about to have a big breakthrough in our life, a test will come through. We'll hit a kind of dip, right? Our energy will feel like it's draining out or things aren't necessarily going our way. This always happens right before you're about to have a big level up. It's very important that you're using your discernment to weed out the riffraff, Scorpios. Because if you can get to a point where you start to recognize these challenges as a sign that you're getting ready to have a breakthrough, you can begin to have a lot of fun with this. And one of the downloads I got for all of you was that the universe wants to play a game with you. The universe sees every one of you as an opportunity to change the world for the better. Now, that's a big statement, but it's so very true, Scorpios, because to break through and actually become a fully awakened Scorpio and understand the Scorpio energy for what it really is, puts you in a power position that not many are able to access. So you need to understand, Scorpios, that every challenge you face is a stepping stone toward your purpose, so long as you can overcome it. You know, this Eight of Wands at the sacral is speaking about some of these things that a lot of you have yet to overcome. And the thing is, Scorpios will make up excuses for themselves, okay? And again, I am a Scorpio, so I've been through this. I know how this works, okay? But Scorpios do not get a get-out-of-jail-free card. Scorpios are not allowed excuses at all. And what I'm about to say, some of you might not like, but it needs to be said. But there is no such thing as a completely awakened Scorpio that has addictions, whether it be to substances, whether it be to drugs, whether it be to alcohol. And the big one for Scorpios, all things that fall under the umbrella of lust, okay? So all of that falls under shadow Scorpio energy. Now, as challenging as it is to overcome all of these things, everything you let go of, Scorpio, will be replaced with another blessing almost immediately. So that is the one leg up that the divine gives you. Every time you sacrifice something that is not for your highest good, your purpose, your mission in this lifetime, will be replaced with something that supports you on your path, period. This Six of Cups paired with this Eight of Wands is speaking about a kind of film loop that plays in all of your lives before the awakening process. It's a kind of programming. It's a kind of storyline that you keep playing out year after year, quite possibly in different geographical locations with different people, but it's the same theme. And a great example of this would be the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, where he keeps waking up inside the same day. He can't escape the same day. A fully awakened Scorpio is a threat because of how powerful you become by overcoming the matrix of your life. The matrix of your life is everything that is holding you back from being your higher self. Behavioral patterns, the addictions, the toxic relationships, the toxic family members. I personally believe that for a Scorpio to have these major breakthroughs in their life, there has to be a complete destruction brought to almost every area of their life so you can rebuild on the ashes of the past with the blueprint that the divine downloads to you. Eight of Wands at the sacral. I'm picking up on a whole collective of Scorpios out there who are preparing to step into this awakening process. And then I'm picking up on a whole bunch of you out there that are about to level up into the next part of the journey. What a lot of you are starting to realize is that there's not much in your life that isn't holding you back from your purpose. You are the anti-hero. You are meant to go against the grain. Your energy signature is one that must prove others wrong because, and it's not so much about you, it's to show people that the impossible is possible. Those friends, those family members, those exes who told you that you couldn't do this, that, and the other, who wanted to tell you who you are, your purpose on your path with your particular group of individuals that you are experiencing this life cycle with is to awaken them through the way you move. It's not necessarily showing people up for ego's sake. It's to snap them out of their own matrix. The divine uses Scorpios as examples. There's no gray area. The divine will use you as an example of what it's like to be asleep inside the matrix, and the divine will use you as an example of what it means to go through the awakening process and to truly step into your power. There is no gray area with Scorpios. You either are or you are not. There's no excuses that you are afforded. And again, there's no get out of jail free card. You must go through every lesson. You must go through every trial and tribulation because of how great the reward is on the other side. Scorpio is the rags to riches energy. It doesn't have to be just finances, certainly can be, but it's more just the idea of that. Scorpios are born to be seen. Although each one of your paths is different, you all have this energy running through you if you fall under the sign of Scorpio. What do we have the solar plexus, please? Knight of Swords at the solar plexus, again, following everything I just said perfectly. Knight of Swords is all about lifestyle changes, right next to the Eight of Wands. These are two of the fastest moving energies in the tarot. See, the Six of Cups, it's like a broken film strip, right? The same story repeating over and over and over. Inside an abandoned movie theater. It's almost like a horror movie kind of vibe. And you will definitely perceive that in that sort of light once you go through the awakening process. Scorpios often look back on this past version of themselves before they became the highest version of themselves. And when you look back, it's like a horror movie. But you don't see that when you're in it, right? You can't see the forest for the trees. You can't see all the detail because you're so close to it. You're in it. You're inside the fishbowl, right? This energy here is you stepping outside the fishbowl now. And this speaks about perspective, right? Thinking about what's taking place in your life from the position of the higher power, removing yourself from your current set of circumstances and looking at your life through the eyes of God, then decide how to move. This Knight of Swords here is speaking about a whole bunch of you that are preparing to bust through the gates of your new beginning. I don't know why they wanted me to put it like that, but it's like I'm seeing a kind of stampede in my mind's eye. You're very much inside this energy right now, Scorpios, where you just hear one thing. It could very well be this reading. It could be something else that you hear in passing, and it just triggers something inside of you. It's like a glitch in the matrix. This is usually the precursor to the awakening process, are seeing these kinds of glitches. Something's off. You may start to have dreams about yourself on another timeline that feel more real than when you're actually awake. This is another sign of you going through the awakening process, right? When you wake up and you forget where you are, who you are, what you're doing, it takes you a minute to recalibrate yourself to this reality. This means you're going through a kind of awakening process in your life, Scorpios. Now, with this Knight of Swords at the solar plexus, this is also speaking about what I mentioned in regards to all of the things in our lives that work incrementally to hold us back. Again, the addictions, okay? Big one for Scorpios, these toxic, lusty relationships. You know, I personally believe that when a Scorpio is going through this kind of awakening process, you must become celibate for a while. You must call your energy back, create this relationship with yourself, increase your value, set the bar higher, right? And this is when a lot of you start to build a different kind of self-worth and you stop going for low-hanging fruit. You know, Scorpios are easily influenced by their environment, by their surroundings. That's why you can't be surrounded by toxic individuals when you're going through this process or after. Well, once you go through the process, you refuse to allow any of these people into your life. But the other thing with Scorpios as well, it's not up to you to save other people, Scorpios. But interestingly enough, when you get on your path, you do have a way of creating an influence by the way you move, which does have more of an impact on actually helping save people, right? That's that anti-hero energy. You become the goal. You become the benchmark by which other people set the standard for their awakening journey. You know, an unawakened Scorpio will be trying to save everybody but themselves. It's because you have hearts that are pure gold. But until you're awakened, Scorpio, You'll sacrifice yourself to try and save another. And I'm sorry to say, but that's shadow Scorpio energy. It's not what you came here to do. Because the problem with this, you don't end up saving the other person. Thinking about what they tell you on an airplane, right? If the oxygen mask falls down, you must put it on your face before you put it on your child's face, because you run the risk of running out of oxygen before you even get it fixed on your child's face, which renders you completely useless. Exactly the same kind of thing here, Scorpios. The awakening process is all based on a relationship that each individual person has with source energy. Source will wake up an individual by circumstance and synchronicity based on their particular path. This is why it's very important not to interfere, but rather concentrate on yourself, Scorpios. This is the best chance you have of helping anybody else, is by simply helping yourself first. And it's not until you actually get to the other side of your initial awakening do you actually begin to see that clearly. It's almost hard to even compartmentalize that. It's usually during that process that you start to see how truly difficult it is, and there's just simply no way that you can convince somebody to go through the process. It's all based on a kind of perception. Awakening is perception, how you perceive life. When I personally think about all of the things that have had a influence on how I perceive life, my perception of why we're here, it's all based on things I've read, knowledge I've come across, almost like the pieces of wisdom and knowledge were sent to me divinely. There seems to be a kind of perfect mechanics to an individual's awakening process that you won't actually be able to fully comprehend until you get to the other side. What do we have at the heart, please? 7 of Wands, Leo energy at the heart. Scorpios, a lot of you have had situations take place in your life where everybody has turned against you. Family, friends, people you were dating, almost like they were working together behind the scenes. It makes you feel like your entire reality is coming against you. There's something about your energy that when you go through this awakening process, people start to feel highly threatened because you're challenging their perception of how they actually perceive their reality. Now, this is going to be most common with friends and family, obviously. You may be going down a path that nobody supports you on, which, Scorpios, if that is the case, that's a clear indication that you need to go down that path, okay? Because almost 100% of the time, really just depends on each one of your circumstances and situations. The path least traveled is the one that you need to go down, okay? Which also speaks about you not taking advice from fools, right? People that haven't taken the path you're taking in life, Scorpio, have absolutely nothing useful that they can tell you when it comes to going down that path. And be careful of people who actually do try to advise you on a path that they've never been down themselves. These people have an ulterior motive. These people are trying to play a kind of God in your life. I would go as far as saying that unless you are feeling overwhelming resistance from your environment, inside your reality, the friends, the family members, during your awakening process, then you may not actually be going through an awakening process yet. Because the process of this kind of awakening is difficult. Kind of like birth, Scorpios. I mean, that is your energy. You are the sign of rebirth. You are the death card, transformation, the death to the old, and a rebirthing of yourself onto a new timeline. You are the phoenix that rises from the ashes, so you must reduce everything that has been holding you back, the trauma, the environments, the addictions, the behavioral patterns, the people, the toxic relationships, to ash. This is very much what tower energy feels like, Scorpios. Feels like everything's out of control. You don't know what's going to happen next, right? Tower being Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy. See, what you start to find is when you're going through this awakening process, you run the gamut of the archetypes in the tarot. The tarot is a journey to awakening. It's a process that you repeat over and over in your life. Every time you run the gamut, you hit the next level in the game, so on and so on. And each time that you hit a new level, your rank increases. You go from a page to an emperor or an empress. The emperor or the empress being a metaphorical example of you in your highest vibration on this timeline. And you being the 8th house, again, is all about transformation. So that's why you represent the death card, the tower. 5 and 6 of cups, right? This is that broken movie reel playing over and over again, drowning in sorrow, drowning in emotions, not able to pick yourself up, stuck in the past, living with unhealed trauma. The unhealed trauma that a lot of you bury with the substances, with the toxic relationships, toxic friends. What do we have at the throat, please? Nine of Cups, Pisces energy at the throat. Perfect. So now we're starting to see hints of this breakthrough, Scorpios, right? So here you are. It's like you're pouring into yourself, but then there's these eyes, those faces back there. They're watching you, right? All of these energies here, you've overcome them. There's a lot of people inside your energy, Scorpios. You're at a point in your life where it's past the point of decency for any of these people to even try and return. Too much time has gone by. There's no way back in. And all this time has done is confirm to you that everything that you felt, everything that you were told intuitively by the divine was in fact true, or true enough. Scorpio, one of the gifts that is bestowed upon you once you get to the other side of your awakening process is complete confidence in your intuition and the downloads you receive. You simply just no longer question the signs, the synchronicities, what the divine is telling you. Because usually by the time you get to the other side of said awakening, you've had so many confirmations that what you always felt, what you always thought was true. This can be a hard pill to swallow because some of these things that you've gone through, Scorpios, have been so horrendous that a lot of you have wished that you would have been told that you were wrong, but you weren't. When you go through this process, and those of you who have been through this already and that are on this path, you can confirm what I'm saying to be true. Most, if not all, the problems you dealt with on the day-to-day start to resolve themselves. If you had debt, the divine shows you how to clear up your debt. If you were having problems supporting yourself or generating any sort of income, the divine gives you the downloads, gives you the blueprints, shows you how to step into your purpose, because all of you have a particular path the divine needs you to walk down, and that path is always going to make sure that you are taken care of and provided for. It's all a part of it. It's all a part of your mission. Scorpios aren't meant to struggle. Scorpios are provided for by the universe, but you have to also listen to the direction that the universe is telling you to go in, because there are conditions here. The divine's not going to support you in the destruction of yourself. That's why the struggle on the day-to-day is happening. These are all signs from the universe that, hey, you're going the wrong way. It doesn't have to be that hard. Come back this way, right? It's like taking the left-hand path when you should have taken the right. You know, that left-hand path can look a little more exciting, especially when you're standing at that crossroads, Scorpios. You'll look down the left and you'll see all these people having fun, maybe some clubs, maybe some bars, and then you'll look down the right-hand path and there's not really anyone there. It's beautiful. Skies are blue. Sun is shining, but just seems kind of boring. So on you go, down the left-hand path. See, what you didn't realize is that had you have gone down the right-hand path and made your way, you would have arrived at something more abundant and beautiful than you've ever seen in your life. Something that reflects you in your highest vibration, and something that wants to sit with you and help you overcome the traumas of the past. Something that wants to take all those burdens away from you, as opposed to making your way down that left-hand path and being presented with exciting ways to numb all of that so you never face it. Sure, it could work for many years, but eventually, you will get to a point where you're so run down and tired, you've aged out, and you have no energy to move on any further, so you just settle in. You start to lose this essence for life and find yourself living a kind of nightmare, asking yourself, what happened? Where did you go wrong? Where did you make a wrong turn? What do we have at the third eye, please? Unbelievable. Ace of Pentacles at the third eye, and as we can see, the path right here, right? The path that looks kind of boring. And look at the divine, right? Holding. Safekeeping, right? This blessing. Scorpio, come down this path. Don't go down that path that's lined in neon signs and strip bars and clubs. Come down here. Once you make your way down there, you'll see that it gets a bit more exciting. And see how on this depiction of the Ace of Pentacles, the hands, right? Hand of God, hand of the divine, is holding that pentacle, gripping it in a sense, as to say, we're going to hold this for you. We're not giving this to you until you come down this path, because we're not going to support you going down that left-hand path, right? Exactly what I said earlier on in the reading. And right through there, you can see the peaks, right? The pinnacles of success. It's down here. And see, this path here, people rarely take because they think it's going to take too long to get to where they want to get to. This can be another way of speaking about individuals who sell their soul for immediate success, immediate fame, whatever it may be. But by the time you get to those pinnacles down there, by going on the journey with the divine and doing it the correct way, those individuals who took the left-hand path, it will be completely run down and run through, absolutely destroyed and violated by the matrix of their life. Just another way of speaking about allowing your demons to consume you. Lust is a demon. Alcoholism is a demon. Drug addiction is a demon. Holding on to trauma is you holding on to demons. This is why it's very important to face all of these things. Heal all of these parts about yourself, or at least get on the path to healing. You don't have to do it all overnight. Nobody is capable of doing that. You just need to get on the path and recognize what it is you're actually dealing with. Every single one of us is born into karma. It's just a part of how this life works. Most, if not all of you, are tasked with overcoming different kinds of generational karma in your family. Basic example of this, if you have parents that are alcoholics, you can't be an alcoholic. You can't drink. That's called breaking the cycle, breaking the curse. If you have family members that involve themselves in drug addiction, you can't be anywhere near anything that you will become addicted to. Period. People come to me all the time. What's my purpose? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Usually staring at you right in the face. What has been your greatest obstacles in your life? How about your family? What obstacles have they been presented with? Typically speaking, your purpose is going to have something to do with you overcoming those obstacles in your life. It's like somebody who overcomes addiction and then becomes a counselor, right? Somebody who overcomes alcoholism and then sponsors people in AA. These are basic examples. Somebody who overcomes child abuse and writes a book that helps thousands of people. It's not rocket science, but we're made to think it is. Usually, all the answers you need are right there in front of you. And again, I speak from my own experience. I always knew what the answers were to my particular problems, but I didn't want to admit it. I tried to tell myself that, no, I'm just overthinking things. I'm just imagining things. I wasn't at all. And I allowed people around me to tell me, yeah, you are overthinking things and blah, blah, blah. But then once I finally stood up to all these things and faced it, every single one of those people who told me that I was overthinking things are now nowhere to be found. They have nothing to say. What do we have at the crown, please? Unbelievable, Scorpio. Something told me to switch decks right after that Ace of Pentacles. What do we get? Ace of Pentacles back to back with Ace of Pentacles. Scorpio, you're being promised a whole new beginning here, which encompasses a world of possibilities. This is all being made available to you because the divine knows everything that you need to overcome to be able to pull this off. And who better to deliver this message to you than somebody who's actually gone through this? Though each one of you are walking a different path, the blueprint for breaking through to the other side is going to be relatively the same. And the way this scarab beetle is right there in the divine's palm, this is a symbol of rebirth, resurrection, transformation, your energy, Scorpio. There's a energy here that's waiting for you as a means to help you transition into this next cycle in your life, Scorpios, the next timeline. There's also a message here surrounding you taking this path and being protected from any evil that tries to come your way. The attacks that may have once affected you quickly become a thing of the past. When Scorpios are going through the shadow part of their journey, which most of you have to go through to become the highest vibrational version of yourself. You have to hit those lows. It's all a part of it. But unfortunately, when you are in that shadow vibration of yourself, Scorpio, you will succumb to spiritual warfare, and it's horrendous. A lot of the spiritual warfare, the divine will allow to hit you as a means to trigger your awakening. This is when the divine uses the underworld to get you to get on your path, much like holding back your blessings, holding back the pentacle until you make it to the other side. Simply put, the divine cannot support you when you are still in the underworld. Doesn't make any sense. They need you to fight for something, which is what makes this path so difficult for Scorpios. I'm not going to lie, okay? Most Scorpios aren't able to break through. They go back. They get weak. And the two areas that most commonly are responsible for Scorpios going back, I mean, it's an energy of really just going back to sleep inside the matrix of your life, are with lust and addiction. Sometimes both, but definitely one or the other. Those two areas must be conquered in your life if you want to have the breakthrough. The divine is here for you. This manifestation's on the table, Scorpios. It's just all a matter of deciding. This is the moment when the divine presents you with a red pill and a blue pill. You can very much remain in a state of blissful ignorance by taking the blue pill, or you can accept the painful reality of everything you've been dealing with up until this point by taking the red pill. What do we have at the foundation, please? Page of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy at the foundation of the reading. This pairs with the Six of Cups perfectly, because now I'm picking up on this energy of you being inside of this blissful ignorance. This Page of Cups is speaking about some of you out there refusing good advice that the divine is trying to transmit to you, is what I'm hearing. Well, it's an energy of repressing your intuition, which is how they transmit this good advice to you, or quite possibly through this reading. They'll use many different ways to get these messages through to you. But eventually, Scorpio, you will have to go through the awakening process. There's no escaping it. I struggled for many years to try and make it to the other side of my awakening. Something would always pull me back. But for me, they waited for an extended period of time. They wanted me to get so run down by life and just start to feel very bitter. They wanted me to have nothing left to lose. So I can fully grasp what a more extreme version of this awakening process for Scorpios looks like. Now, obviously, it makes sense because I can sit here with all of you and speak from a place of experience and hope that these messages that I have coming through me right now for all of you will strike a chord. What do we have at the sacral? Unbelievable. Hermit, Virgo energy, Furcus at the sacral. So this Hermit from this deck, it's like Hermit in reverse, okay? It's like you've gone down the left-hand path. Now here you are just completely beat down. Just completely worn out by life. Aging out, just repeating the same cycle over and over again. See, what's interesting here is you head down the left-hand path and you are indulging in the spoils of life, so to speak, which eventually leads you to this place of complete loneliness, complete isolation, the absolute opposite of what the path looked like. But now you're stuck there, because you don't even have the energy to change your circumstances. Whereas, had you have gone down the right-hand path, which may have been a little bit lonely in the beginning, you may have felt isolated in the beginning, eventually, once you reached your destination, you would feel love in its highest form because it would be a direct result of the direction that the divine told you to go in. So there's no telling how beautiful that may look. But from what I understand, it will be reflected back to you in your reality, not only in the face of another, but also in many layered forms of abundance that you are gifted with to help support you and to bless you on your path. Because that direction has everything to do with you actually completing your mission and fulfilling your destiny. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Ten of Cups, Furfur. Pisces energy at the solar plexus. And here comes the family. It's so interesting. For a lot of Scorpios, when you get on this path, it's like your family, your old friends, become your mortal enemies because you're reflecting back to them everything that is broken and unhealed inside of them. A lot of these people are completely obsessed with your life, and I don't even feel that any of these people are even in your life. It's like they're just watching you from afar. Okay, so this is going to speak to people that have social media platforms. It's like people commenting on posts that you put up, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. But behind those accounts, it's like family members, old friends. It's like they're just trying to engage in your energy any way they can. Maybe some of these people are even trolling you, leaving nasty comments. I'm also hearing that some of these individuals are starting to have a shift in the way they perceive you. It's like now they want to support you because you've remained so focused and dedicated on your path that they just cannot deny all the hard work you've put in. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the reading, right? Leading by example. Now you start to understand why you must put the oxygen mask on your face before anybody else. You got to save yourself first, Scorpio. There's no way around this. A lot of you have come from broken homes, just really traumatic upbringings. This trauma was just reflected back to you over and over on your path through your friendships, romantic relationships. The same script playing over and over, but in different forms, different people, different places. But there's always that thing that connected all of this energy together. See, when we have this deeply embedded trauma, the universe wants to get it out of us. So the universe will create situations in our life that will make us want to be proactive about digging it up and stopping any of these situations from unfolding in our life ever again. I know for me personally, that's exactly what happened. I became so sick and tired with this same storyline, the same script repeating every few years in my life. I would just end up in the same place, but just a little worse off each time. I knew there was something there. I just didn't know how to go about addressing it. It's important that you try and recognize these patterns as soon as you can, Scorpios. It's not by coincidence. You want to try and get to this before you've gone too far down the path, right? I mean, that was me. I was too far down the path. It was by complete miracle that the divine got me out of there. Absolute miracle. There's just no way I could have done it without the presence of God in my life. What do we have at the heart, please? And then we have Fornius, fruitless labor, which is the Six of Cups. So we go right back to the beginning of the reading. And it's always interesting when I get the card that we began the reading with right here, because the next three cards is the outcome. The top row is our narrative. These three cards represent the darkness, the resistance, the demons that we all need to overcome, right? This right here bridges the energy. So we have the resistance, the demons, the darkness, and then we have the angels, right? The light, the hope right here. And then these are angels here. Okay, so when we get the same card as the beginning, it's essentially us going back to the beginning. Okay, so it's like we've just told this entire story. Now, this Six of Cups right here is picking up on what I was saying in the reading about people trying to tell you how you should and shouldn't live your life. People trying to give you advice on paths they have never gone down themselves. It's an energy that wants you to think that all of your expectations for yourself are unrealistic. Shadow Scorpio energy, and it's right underneath the Seven of Wands, right? You can't do that, Scorpio, right? Here they all poking you, and you're like, yes, I can do it. And they're like, no, you can't. You're crazy. You'll fail, blah, blah, blah. See, they don't want you to have an identity of your own. As we can see here, this weird-looking bat snake has a planter's peanut for a head. There's no face there. They just want you to be faceless and without purpose. They just want you to sit down and shut up, Scorpio, is really what it comes down to. They may not tell you that, but that's what they're all thinking. And then we have Omail, which is the Ace of Wands, fertility and multiplicity. Two Ace of Pentacles and an Ace of Wands. This is you taking all of this resistance, taking the darkness and taking the trauma, whatever that represents for you, and creating hope in whatever form the divine is guiding you to create it in. It's all here. You are the anti-hero. The uniqueness that each one of you has been blessed with has never been seen inside these circles that you were incarnated into, these families, these friends groups. They can't understand what they're looking at when they see you, Scorpio, because you're truly one of a kind. You're not meant to follow the leader and be a part of this flock of sheep. The divine made you a little different on purpose, and it's your responsibility to protect that and see it through. What do we have at the throat, please? Six of Swords. It's your responsibility to protect that and see it through. We get the Six of Swords at the throat, which represents your rite of passage. Aquarius energy, Annuel, the gentle god. Perception of unity. Protects from accidents, heals the sick. Six of Swords is you moving beyond the pain of the past, transitioning into this new timeline, putting your truth, throat chakra energy into whatever this gift here, this blessing is that you're being guided to bestow upon the collective. And I love when we get this card in a reading like this because it almost looks like this angel is kind of flipping off the past, flipping everybody off. See, I told you I could do it. This is you going against the grain. I'm also getting something here, Scorpios, with this Nine of Cups stacked with the Six of Swords. Regarding ancestors, I feel a lot of you have a really strong ancestral lineage that is guiding you right now. Okay, when I look at this card, I'm just thinking about somebody putting out offerings for their ancestors, right? Like on an altar. So that might be a message for you, all right? If you feel guided to do so. What do we have at the third eye? Justice. Wow. Kal-El, Libra energy. The invocable God. Makes truth known in court, causes innocence to prevail. So this is speaking about the divine courts, okay? There's a balancing taking place in your life, Scorpios. You have a huge win on this table here. Two Ace of Pentacles here with this justice, okay? So this is showing us very clearly the result of you going down this right-hand path that the divine is guiding you down. There's also something about truth coming to the light. See, a lot of you get hung up on wanting justice in your life through the struggles you've been through, and I get it. But the only way that you will actually receive this justice is by getting on your path. You getting on your path results in the justice coming through. Just like I was saying in regards to getting on your path allows the divine to protect you, right? You get on path, and then that is when no weapons that form against you shall prosper, okay? It's all inclusive. So the justice comes through, you're protected from attacks, you're on your path. Everything is included in this. Okay, so rather than sitting inside the energy of victimization, right, which that's shadow Scorpio energy as well. You get so caught up in what everybody did to you that you can't seem to find the motivation to pick yourself up and charge forward. Okay, thing is, by the time you have gotten on path and you've made your way down that path a good distance, you don't even care about this justice anymore. With each passing day, these individuals that put you through this, they just become a fading memory, which speaks about the elevation. You just start to perceive these individuals in a way that you didn't when you were consumed by this energy. They're vibrationally beneath you. They're on another timeline. You also start to recognize that everything had to unfold the way it did in order to get you to where you are right now. So if anything, you're grateful for the struggle. This is also a very clear indication that you've undergone a lot of healing, is when things from the past that once would have stopped you in your tracks is barely even a part of your thought process anymore. What do we have to close there for Scorpio? Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy to close out the reading, Scorpios. Imamia, the lovely God, discernment, general prosperity, the deliverance of prisoners. And this is a perfect card to get to end this reading, Scorpio, because as you can see here, it's like you're lighting your own way. You've gotten your wings. It says right there, the lovely God. And this to me is indicating you going down this right-hand path. There's an energy of you starting to see the fruits for your labors, right? You start to see reflections of everything you've had to overcome to get to this point, showing up in your waking life. All of your visions starting to come into alignment. There's this energy of crystallization. This is you feeling like you dreamt about the life that is now surrounding you. This is you waking up on a new timeline, which goes back to what I said about what a lot of you may be feeling right now when you wake up from your dreams, needing to take a minute to gather yourself and remember where you are. It's because the divine is trying to elevate you to a new timeline. And this right here is telling me that you will make it to the other side of this, as long as you follow this blueprint that all of you can apply to your life, no matter what your circumstances are. It is general enough to where it should see you through to being able to have this breakthrough. Scorpios, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Scorpios. Take care.